We want to show you a live look tonight outside at 5 o'clock at the interstates across central Indiana. Travel warnings and watches still in effect at this hour after a winter storm Saturday and Sunday over the weekend. INDOT's been really busy. They've had their yellow trucks out to clear the roads. But as you can see, there are cars just like this one going off the road needing some help. This one on the east side there where a tow truck is coming and pulling it away.
So this road looking like many others around town, and DPW as well as private contractors they've hired are working to clear the streets across Indy. Here's a live look right now at the streets in the Fountain Square area. This snowstorm was the worst that we've seen in a decade. And that's why we're already, when we're looking ahead to tomorrow, seeing that schools are making the call that yes, Tuesday will be an e-learning day for many schools. The zoo even posting late this afternoon that they've decided they're going to stay closed tomorrow as well. And we have many other alterations and closings and adjustments, and we have those running for you continuously at the bottom of your screen. We also have it online at WTHR.com. Meantime, at 5, we've got live team coverage for you. We've got the roads across the area, and we're also looking at these sub-zero temps that are going to be here for days. So let's start there with Sean, who's in the Weather Center, for Angela, who's off tonight. Hey there, Sean.
Yeah, and look, even if you take snow out of the equation, we would have some issues with school delays because of the harsh temperatures, but the deep snowpack is what's going to cause it. You were showing that incident there on the east side. This is downtown. This is 65 North, where we had an accident, and they're now getting that semi pulled away. Still have a car here on the left lane of 65 North that they're about to get out of the way. So you can see the pavement, at least in this stretch run. We tried to tell you this cleanup is going to take a while because of the depth of snow and the cold that we have. Cold indeed. Sun right now at 5, however, a west wind at 15. And that puts the wind chills well below 0. These numbers, by the way, are going to drop very quickly. Before we get to midnight, I think some areas 5 to 10 below. This is the wind chills that we have. They will get into the 20 to near 30 mile per hour or below 0 range overnight. So again, here's the quick drop this evening. They'll go up a little bit as the southwest wind starts to ramp up tomorrow. And I want you to be aware that though we're clear early tonight, by tomorrow morning, and it looks like it's just cloud cover, that cloud cover may be near the ground, and that could be freezing on contact. I'm getting a little concerned that we could have some slick roads redeveloping where they've cleared off the snow for tomorrow morning. It is a really harsh 7-day forecast that we haven't seen in quite a while. I'll share that coming up here in just a few minutes.
Sean, thank you. We're going to go back to the road conditions across the area at this hour.
Matthew Foltz joins us live with a look at where the streets we're seeing on the east side of Indy. And what are you finding now, Matthew?
Well, Anne-Marie and Felicia, right now I can tell you that many of the side streets here on the city's near east side are still covered. They have been untouched. In fact, right now, if you take a look at our drive cam, we're actually stopped right now on Keystone Avenue. Someone is in front of us with their hazards. They've been sitting here for some time, so I apologize that we're not moving right now. But I want to show you some of the video that I shot along this area earlier today. So Keystone Avenue, right off of Michigan Street on the city's near east side. This is one of the residential streets that right now DPW are considering a 3 priority. So right now, one of the things new this year that DPW is really focusing on is really trying to get to these residential streets, both 2 and 3 priority, faster with the help of contractors. So as you can see, you know, contractors haven't been down this street yet. And right now they say that contractors do have until 5 p.m. tomorrow to really try to hit these side streets, residential streets, and get them plowed. But I want to take you to what one gentleman I spoke with earlier today who was actually shoveling his car and the sidewalk out with his son. Here's what he had to say about his street not being plowed yet.
I wish they'd step up the games because we have a lot of elderly people in this neighborhood. Like my parents are in their 70s. Most of the time this street never gets touched, even though we got schools on both ends. Now they'll hit those 2 side streets because of the school, but they don't hardly ever touch this one.
Now, John Holt, the man you just heard from, tells me that one of the things he says, the reason why his street is drivable in the first place is because the apartment complex next door has a contractor who plowed that with his with a pickup truck and a plow on the front, and he just happened to clear the way down the street when he was leaving. So as you can see, back here live, we're on New York Street. This has been plowed. It is drivable. It's one of the main thoroughfares on the east side that we've seen that has been drivable. But if you're in a residential area and you don't have to go anywhere, like we've been saying earlier, stay inside, because otherwise you're really not going to get out unless you have a 4x4 or all-wheel drive vehicle. But my colleague, Jenna Webster, has been in the Broad Ripple area all day, kind of keeping an eye on how things are up there. And Jenna, what's the latest up your way?
Well, Matthew, it's really kind of this tale of two very different snow stories in the Broad Ripple area. So let's start with where we are right now, kind of give you a look at those road conditions. We are right across the street actually from Dan Wakefield Park between College and Central Avenues. And our neighbors here, residents, they say the plows have not come through. And this really looks just like it did earlier when we were here. Maybe some more cars have kind of driven by and packed it down. But we were out this afternoon, earlier this morning, talking with neighbors while they shoveled their sidewalks. One says in the 5 years he's lived here, he's never seen a plow. Another says he understands the city has to get to the major thoroughfares first, but feels that their neighborhood here is forgotten about. He says other streets in the area do see plows, but Broadway Street, that's where we are right now, doesn't, and should be a higher priority since it is 4 lanes wide and gets a decent amount of traffic.
I'm lucky in that I can work from home. I do occasionally have to go into an office, but more so, I know my neighbors are teachers. They get impacted constantly when they have to leave, 6 or 7 a.m. in these conditions.
So like I said, a tale of two very different snow stories. So let's show you the other side, because these roads, this is a bit farther east. This is near Broad Ripple Park. Neighbors say plows came through twice this morning, and they were pretty pleasantly surprised by that. One woman says she's never seen that in her 25 years living here, and is of course grateful to have her streets plowed, be able to actually see some of the pavement. But back out here live, you can see these conditions on Broadway. You can kind of see just how deep it is when you look at it, really right up against my boots. Actually, DPW told us that contractors have been out since 5 o'clock yesterday, starting to get to those residential roads. And neighbors here, they understand that this is not a priority one. They understand it's going to take some time to get to them, but they hope it is sooner rather than later. So as we're in this deep freeze, this deep cold all week, they just don't want to see this snow get stuck here and really frozen and cause more problems than it is right now.
Yeah, when it gets packed down, it's just harder to move, Jenna. Thanks so much. Please take cover. We want you to be safe, too. So we've shown you the conditions in a few neighborhoods around central Indiana. And so now you might be asking, okay, I see that there, but what about me? When's the plow going to reach my street?
Yes, some neighborhoods are still buried, and Mayor Joe Hogsett joined leaders with DPW this afternoon for an update on snow removal. Our Ashton Hackman was at that press conference. And what are they saying?
Well, they're saying be patient. They know it's going to take, they have a lot of streets to get to. They say they hope to have all of these streets cleared by this time tomorrow afternoon. That's the goal, at least. Now, you might recall this is the first major test of the city's new snow removal plan. Snow crews have been out clearing those streets in 12-hour shifts since late Friday, focusing on those priority roads and major connectors first. The city brought in those private contractors around 5 last night to help clear residential areas that Matthew and Jenna were both in. So far, crews have finished about half of the neighborhoods in 5 of the city's 9 townships. In the meantime, the travel warning for Marion County will downgrade to a watch at midnight. That's essential travel only.
We will undoubtedly still face challenges going into Tuesday, and traveling with caution still remains necessary.
Have to go out on the roads tonight or tomorrow, certainly slow down. Stay focused. We saw so many slide-offs and stuck cars this morning. You might have saw that pic on I-70, all those cars getting stuck in the snow embankment. So just be careful. Even though that travel watch, it's still not ideal for drivers. If you're not paying attention, it's easy to go a little too far to the right, get stuck in the snow, or even on a local road. If you don't take that turn fast enough or wide enough, you might find yourself stuck. Also, salt. That's one thing that DPW hit on at that press conference. They weren't able to drop any because of how frigid it is. It's just essentially ineffective with the type of salt that they're using.
Yeah, with how cold the temperatures are, it's not a good mix there. And it's not just you, it's the people around you, right? So someone around you could be going too fast, take a turn too wide or whatever, and then you're impacted.
Yep, be careful. Slow down and clear off your car too. A lot of people have 2 to 3 inches, maybe even higher of snow on the top of their car. If you're going a certain speed, that's just going to blow right into the person behind you. So be cognizant.
And you mentioned essential travel, so that would be like your doctor's visits or maybe going to pick up your medication.
Yep,
just
and
the things
to and from work, they said. So take the roads that you can. Obviously, go slow. If your employment makes you come to work, that's in that travel watch. So road conditions, they're starting to get better.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we learned how to work from home for so many people, you know, and I did see that there were some doctor's offices that were closed today too as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on how things look for tomorrow.
Ashton. Thank you.
All right, well, we have seen, unfortunately, crash after crash during the snowstorm. So what you're looking at here is that video that Ashton referred to. It's from this morning, I-65 and I-70. This is where you can see a series of cars got stuck.
State police say from 10 a.m. Saturday to noon today, they responded to at least 486 crashes. Plus, troopers saw more than 400 slide-offs and at least 730 drivers who needed help.
So as of this morning, nearly all of central Indiana under a travel warning, located here in red on this map. That include Marion County, but things have changed a little bit. Now we're starting to see more orange. That's a travel watch. Marion County is expected to fall under that category of being a watch by midnight.
And we talked about essential travel. Again, that's like driving to and from work. Also under this designation, businesses, schools, government agencies, and other organizations are supposed to put their emergency action plans into place.
And if you don't have it yet, you're way overdue. It's time. Download the Live Doppler 13 weather app. That way you can have the very latest weather information in the palm of your hand. It is free in your phone's app store.